This is the Lotmaxx Shark V3. It's a multifunctional 3D printer. It does laser engraving. It does dual color 3D printing. It has G-sensor auto leveling, super fast cooling, ultra quiet. Its print size is just over 9 inches by 10 inches high. It's got a 4-inch color touchscreen control panel. It's got easy laser module switching, so you can switch out your 3D print head across to a laser head, dead easy. Now, assembly and maintenance tools are also included. That is just the headlines for this 3D printer. Now, for build volume, across 235 mils, depth 235, 265 mils high. Now, materials wise, it does PLA, PETG, TPU up to 260 degrees. The extruder type is a Bowden, and as for the nozzle, it's a 4mm Mark 8. The build platform is glass, and I'll give you some little tips that we found for that thanks to our resident 3D print nerd. The bed leveling is automatic, and it has a filament runout sensor. To connect to this device, you can use micro SD or a LAN connection. As I already mentioned, it's got that color touchscreen control panel. And as for the laser, it's 1.6 watts. Now, the overall machine weighs in at 7.1 kilos and has a total footprint of 436 across, 450 deep and 485 millimeters high. Scott has spent the last month with the 3D printer at the studio, and he's been pushing it through its paces with trying to come up with the pros and cons for us. The first thing Scott told us was this, from the very startup of assembly, was an easy step-by-step guide to follow. It gave great results from the very first print, and there's an active and very supportive Facebook group should you have any questions at all. It runs quietly in the background. The glass bed is flawless, and the top tip for the glass bed was Scott said he used hairspray, so we'll talk some more about that in a second. And it holds temperature incredibly well. Now, there are some cons, and it's only fair to mention these. The stylish hot end cover, which is beautifully illuminated, is a little too big, and it does obscure the view of the print. It performs bed leveling on a cold bed, which makes the zero offset quite tight. And when the print finishes, it doesn't turn off, so the fan does keep running. So there's 3 little pointers just to be aware of there. It was released roughly 2 years ago at $500. It's now available at half of that price, and I've linked below the best price that you can currently find online.
$250 odd or whatever it works out as now.
It's thereabouts. It's
for a 3D printer of this quality is absolutely insane.
I filled the table with some of the inventions that Scott's printed off for us. They go through some of the various things that he's experienced with the printer.
We've seen a lot of 3D printers in our time across the different productions we've done. Some industrial style 3D printers.
Yeah, so all the way from like the Z-Morph, the bigger 3D printers, right into these like hobbyist 3D printers.
And at Scott's daily 3D printer is the Creality Ender. And he was shocked at this by comparison when you look at the price to the quality of printing. So he was genuinely shocked at how well this performs and how easy it was to use. That in itself is a testament to it being incredible value for money.
The one takeaway from Scott over all of this, when we were discussing just before filming, was the fact that from very setup, everything was incredibly logical and simple. He didn't have to dial things in too much.
Yeah.
It wasn't making mistakes where he was wasting loads of product or wasting hours of print where it failed. He literally struggled to come up with some of the cons.
Yeah.
The top tip of putting hairspray onto the bed, genius.
I think the major negative is the fact that it does the bed leveling when it's cold.
Bed leveling when it's cold makes it far more difficult. Yeah.
So he always waits for it to heat up and then puts a Z offset of 0.5, I think it is.
Yeah.
Just to adjust for that. I mean, that's kind of, again, like we said, splitting hairs. It's an incredible device.
You're saying you could refine your prints even more so, but the finish that we've got from what he's been doing is really exceptional, considering he hadn't slowed up the prints for a better finish.
Yeah.
So they're kind of like straight off the print. This is what it comes out like. But obviously, where they become slightly more stringy, where you get some of like the fuzzing, you could dial that in more just by slowing things down. But exceptional finish. And for us as a studio, the thing that we love about 3D printers is they make incredible props. You can put your hand on something very quickly and you've got a great prop.
Yeah.
Whether it's to be an object for the background to backlight, whether it's like this, a really colourful prop that will hold a controller on the table. So if we're reviewing controllers, I can just drop it on there. It's for us, a 3D printer is an incredible tool.
Yeah, you said it at the start. It's the ultimate man cave tool, isn't it? Like if you like tinkering with stuff, you have to try 3D printing at least once. It's so much fun. The fact that this has got a laser engraver as well, now that's an element of this we've not spent a lot of time looking at.
Yeah, so the thing we know about the laser engraver so far is to set it up, the instructions are kind of loose. There's not a lot of guidance on the setup for the laser engraving. So what it says is you've got to raise the laser head and try and get it to burn in a small circular dot. When you've got that, the laser's in focus. I went through a lot of online blogs about this, and people have had a lot of issues in there really being enough guidance. There's not enough YouTube videos on guidance for setting it up. But from the sounds of it, once you get the laser to produce the circular dot and it's in focus, from that point on, what it produces is fantastic. But yes, in a studio environment, it's not so great for us. We're not so interested in the laser head.
Well, and
that's really because of the environment we're in.
I was just going to say, if you're hoping to doing any laser etching, you got to make sure it's well ventilated where you are, which is, funnily enough, kind of the opposite of what you want for the 3D printing. 3D printing, you want a really stable, consistent environment for everything to set properly.
Yeah.
Laser etching, you want good ventilation because you're burning stuff.
Yeah.
So in a studio environment like this, we're not going to be testing laser engraving.
Yeah, I did find, again, there's a Facebook group for all of this, and the information in there is really good. So that, to define better engravings, you can do slower passes, you can do more passes. All of the information really was sourced from the Facebook group.
That's incredible.
So that's really nice. Again, a con, there's not a huge wealth of information coming from the brand.
Yeah.
And some of the frustration in the group is about communication, the ways of accessing for questions that you might have. So it's one thing to bear in mind is if you're going to buy one of these printers, you've really got to join the Facebook group because that's where you're going to get your most support from the people that really know.
But if you are a newbie, like we are, to be fair, we know a little bit about 3D printing, but I wouldn't say by any means that we would be nerds in it. Yeah. If you're a newbie, it's actually a really good entry point, considering it's so cheap and so easy to set up and so easy just to get going with. Get some files down from Thingiverse, some things you want to print.
Yeah.
You can get going straight away within an hour of building the thing.
You don't need to, day one, start designing your own things to print. None of these have been designed by us or by Scott.
No.
These are all straight off the internet. These are files that are readily available for free for you to access and print out.
Yeah.
In fact, the printer comes with like a lucky waving cat.
Does it really?
So straight out of the box, you can print on a file.
Why haven't we got the waving cat?
I mean, you just ask Scott, and
Right,
he'll print the waving cat.
Go and tell him to print it.
Yeah, it doesn't move. It's sat.
Oh,
it's
I want
sat
one that moves.
It's about to wave, but it's like a photo version. So yeah, there's loads of cool stuff, and of course, as always, the more time you put into it, the more you'll get out of it. So finishes like this, which just exceptional. Scott spent a little bit of time on that with the finish. Here, he's kind of sprayed that finish, so it just puts more into the print than what you would get straight off of the print
Is it
bed.
the ultimate man cave gadget?
Easily, because you're creating something from nothing. A moment ago, you had a roll of filament and you've turned it into a prop or something functional, like a holder or a controller or an organizer or a tray. Like whatever you can think of, you can make.
That's so cool.
And that is the love of 3D printing. Like here, someone thought, I want the rock's head.
Oh, so it's a rocktopus.
On an octopus body. So
a rocktopus.
A rocktopus. And that's crazy. And it comes straight out of the print bed like that with all the moving parts. Job done. Then you've got things like this. Now, this is something that Scott's just made just to show us that those dual print heads can work seamlessly. So, there you've got two different colours printed on one print, if you like, on one finished product. There's another version, so it's just a dog with a red head and a green body.
Why not?
Yeah, because you can. So you should. If you can, then you do. It's a little vase. It's a lovely little prop background
Do you
ornament.
think you could give that to your wife for her birthday?
I'm going to try. Why not?
Go and pick a
Gift wrap
wildflower in it. A free gift.
And she'll be impressed.
She'll be impressed. I
Because
made this for you.
It looks like I've spent a lot of money on it.
I just wish you'd make me things.
Look at how it catches the light. I spent hours on this creation.
Yeah.
And she'll be amazed. In fact, I think she'll be that impressed that I'll be in the good books again.
No way.
Yeah, which would be
that's
the
not
first
possible.
time in a long time.
First time ever.
Yeah. So, yeah, like I said, I've linked below to the best price online. If you do buy one, that helps make it rain for me. Not very much, a little bit. Last month, 40 pence.
Hopefully this month, 50.
If we can edge towards,
I'm up
we're
for
in the
that.
right direction, then I can convince Jean to free up my credit card so I can keep buying stuff.
Another 3D printer?
I think I might do, especially if they like 3D printing, because I like 3D printing. So, I'll just keep buying stuff.
So that's been our look at the Lotmaxx Shark V3 3D printer, the ultimate man cave gadget. I was going to say everyday carry, but you can't really carry it around with you.
It's a man cave accessory.
Oh.
And if you like those man cave type of accessories, tell us down below in the comments. In fact, tell us anything that you would like to see on the show. And to make sure you do see it, you're going to have to be subscribed. So you might as well do that now while you're there.
And before you disappear, do like this video and then maybe, watch another video by us. I'm going to magically adorn between our faces.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, big words and all that. So until the next time.
Bye, everyone.